29-year-old Sarah Burgess is the deputy head at St Bernadette's Catholic Primary School in Blackpool. She only joined the school recently and is finding the role challenging. For most people, Blackpool's the fun capital of the north, but Sarah is so stressed out by her job that she doesn't have any time for fun.
My family and my partner would describe my work-life balance as out of sync. My partner regularly asks me when I'm going to be able to fit him into my diary, and that's a horrid thing to say and to admit that I can't make time for them. In the amount of spare time I do have, I go to the Lake District and canoe as often as I can, and I run and enter the odd competition, the odd 10k along Blackpool Prom. It's good fun, I enjoy it. Ideally, from this experience, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to redress the balance, that I'm going to be able to leave work at a reasonable time by 5 o'clock, and that I'm going to be able to come home and not do as much as I do now. The timing aspects of my work within school, I'm hoping I'll be able to say enough's enough and be able to walk away. So I will be able to do more fun things, go and spend more time at the boat, or go and canoe, or go for a nice long run.
It's no wonder Sarah's tired. Her average day is a whopping 14 hours long.
One four. Yeah. Big up. 1 4. I'm very much looking forward to Gladina coming today. I feel really privileged that I've been chosen, that she can come in and spend time redressing my balance, as it were. A little bit nervous, obviously, because somebody new's coming in, and the things that I'm sure she's going to tell me will be difficult initially to set in place, but once they're there, I'm hoping that my life will be changed.
Changing Sarah's life is a tall order, but if anyone can do it, it's Teachers TV life coach Gladina.
Hi Sarah.
Hello Gladina, pleased to meet you. Welcome to St Bernadette's, come on in.
Thank you. So Sarah, what are some of the challenges that are facing you?
At the moment, the real challenge for me is balancing my work and my home life, really. I have a busy job in school, I have management responsibility, new deputy headship, and balancing that with the challenges at home of enjoying life and taking time out, as it were. So it's getting that balance.
Okay, so how long are your days? I mean, give me some idea. When you say there's a kind of challenge in there, what sort of a challenge are we looking at?
I wake at about 5 and I'm normally in work for about 6 o'clock. The children begin the day at 10 to 9, they come in, we register, and they're with me until about 3:30. Then after hours I either will have meetings or I'll have a booster class, and I normally have one night free in the week, so I do try on a Wednesday to go home relatively early, and bed normally about 9 o'clock.
So a bit of a long day, really.
Really quite a long day, yes.
Do you ever get weekends, or do you find yourself taking things home for the weekend?
I always spend one day of a weekend either in school or at home working, because I will have planning to do, or there'll be management activities that need addressing. So there is always definitely one day. The other day I'll perhaps go with my boyfriend up to the lakes and we'll spend some time there, or I'll spend some time with my mum and dad. So I do try hard to do that, but not always successfully.
Well, what do you think kind of drives you into doing that? I mean, it sounds an awful lot of hours to me if we totted that up. I mean, you're doing like 12-hour days minimum, really.
Yes. I'd say the real driver behind what I do is because I love what I do, and I want to be good at it. And I've always said that if you work really hard at something, then you will get the rewards. And particularly moving to a new job, I've got new children to get to know, new staff to get to know, a completely new environment, working in a very different environment. So all of those things you need to take some time to bed in, as it were.
And how good are you at actually, shall we say, putting stops on yourself?
not very good at all. Obviously, people that are close to me will say to me regularly, slow down, you're doing too much, you're like a whirlwind. And the thing that happens to me when I am at my most stressed is that I'm forgetful. So I will lose my purse, lose my keys, lose my mobile phone, or say, where are my glasses? So those are the things, and when I start to do that, I know instantly that I have worked too much or need to slow down, but I don't.
So there's a pattern here, because I'm thinking if your family and your friends say that, it sounds like that's been around quite a long time.
It has. I have been like this ever since I've been a teacher. I qualified 7 or so years ago, and since that point I have loved being with children and always wanted to be very good at what I do. I have high aspirations for myself and for the children in my care, and long-term goal, I would like to be ahead. So I feel I need to put the groundwork in now so that when I'm ahead I can possibly sit back and relax and have cups of coffee in my office.
Is that the fantasy?
That is, absolutely, yes.
Okay, fine. Because you might just find that when you're there, you're still doing the same thing.
Well, I hope that you're here to allow me to change my work-life balance so that I will be able to have that time to sit back and
have that coffee. Well, Sarah, what I'd like to do is, if you'll have me, is I'd like to stay with you this afternoon and just see how you actually get things done.
Okay, that sounds lovely.
Great.
Tell them whether your fraction is bigger or smaller than theirs, and what your fraction is. So go and tell one other person, then another person, then another person. So, what about this one?
You could have 8/40.
You could have 8/40. Is that your card?
Yeah.
Sarah, you seem to do an awful lot of photocopying. I mean, don't you have some admin support?
Yes, I do have admin support. We're very well resourced here. I have almost full-time support in my class, which is fantastic. However, I choose to do some of the admin myself because I feel my support assistant is much better placed in class with my children, working alongside them in groups, etc. So I choose to come in and do some of this copying myself.
Sarah, what happens to your PPA time?
Well, during PPA time, I'm given a chance to mark and to prepare. So I have about 2.5 hours a week. Certain weeks I don't always get it because there are different things in school that happen that mean that the cover that I'm given, it's just taken away. But I do tend to use most of that for management because I can do that here and I can take my marking home.
You get your allocation,
yes,
but really you don't use it.
No,
because you're doing other things.
I'm doing other things. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Finally, it's home time. But of course, Sarah's day doesn't finish here.
So Sarah, how much work have you got to do tonight?
Well, I've got a bit of assessment to do, some marking still, and I've got a couple of emails to send about a job that we have done today. So busy night ahead. We've got to have some tea too. So come on in.
Tea, that's a good idea.
After some Blackpool fish and chips for tea, Sarah knuckles down and Gladina waits. And waits. And waits. And waits.
Sarah? Come on. Follow me.
Okay.
Well, Sarah, thank you for letting me spend all this time with you. It's been an education.
Why do you say that?
Why do you think I might say that?
I would think probably because my life is so busy, and that sometimes it is too much. So.
And I've seen that today. I mean, that is your day-to-day life, and then you're saying to me, but it's too much. That I'm grateful for, because if you hadn't realised that, I think I'd have been really worried.
Yes.
Because, you know, quite seriously, Sarah, you know, you work extremely hard, you work too hard, and it is going to catch up with you.
It is, definitely.
And what I'm concerned about, absolutely, for the future, is that if we don't do something about it now, you're 29 now, okay, what's it going to be like when you're 49?
That's why we need to make changes now, and I need to learn from you and you know, and make a start.
Okay, well, let's start. Okay, one of my serious concerns for you, and I'm going to try and use this as something to motivate you, is that I know you have a boyfriend, and maybe in the future you two might want to take your relationship further.
Yes.
And if you decide to do that, he might want to see you.
He might.
He might.
Yes,
and at
he
the
might.
moment, I suspect that, you know, he doesn't get to see you very often.
No, I'd very much like to marry Steve, and I would very much like to settle down and have a family, yes.
Plus the fact that when people like yourself get very, very stressed,
Yes.
okay, and for you to get very stressed, you've gone beyond what most people would call the line.
Yes.
All right. It really does suggest that you are extremely stressed.
Yes.
And stress affects fertility.
Okay.
So if you want a warning shot across your bowels, that's one. That's
Okay.
one. So let's look at some of the things that you could do. Do you have a watch that's like a stopwatchy kind of beepy watch?
Yes, I do.
Right, I'd like you to wear that to school every day, please.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I've noticed is you get so engrossed in things that you say will take 20 minutes take 40 minutes.
Correct, yes.
Because you get so wound up into them. What I want you to do before you go into any piece of work is to set it for the amount of time that you have said the piece of work will take.
Should take, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I want it, and so when it goes off, you stop.
Fair enough.
The second thing I'd like you to do is to get hold of your diary, your planner, however you do this, and I want you to actually block out leaving school at, well, let's be generous, let's say 5. Okay, and let's say that you're going to be out of school a minimum of 2 nights a week by 5. That's a minimum.
Okay.
And that needs programming in the watch as well. So 15 minutes before time to go. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll get to 5 and it'll be like, oh, stop, I haven't done this and I haven't done that and I haven't done the other. So again, to actually do that and block it out in the diary, and then make sure that you're going off to do something that you really want to do.
Yes.
Yeah? The other thing is you've moved into management. And now that you're in management, I think it's time to delegate more. Okay, so maybe what you want to do is to kind of think about the management role that you've got, and are there other ways in which you could use your support services to delegate?
That is feasible. I mean, I've just started a new job, so I have felt that I've wanted to do everything and get my finger on the pulse, as it were. But you're right. Now is the time. I've been there a few weeks now, so I'm ready to hand over things.
I think you're right. I think now it's time to manage. So how does all that seem to you?
It seems very good advice. The blocking out time idea of a diary I have done before. Since the new job, I've just not done it. It's slipped my mind. But the other advice is just good advice. So I should be okay.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful.
So when I come back,
I'm going to see a new me.
I'm going to see a new you.
Yes.
Feet up, you know, a cup of coffee.
Don't know whether we'll be quite there, but on our way. Yes. Thank you very much.
Well, there's one thing that Sarah isn't lacking, and that's energy. But I am worried about her, because if she goes on the way that she is, she's going to burn herself out. And if you burn yourself out, you're not going to be effective. She's got the strategies. I think she's got the motivation. But I can't wait to get back to see if she really implements the things we've talked about.
All of the things that she said are absolutely fantastic ideas, and I'm looking forward to putting them into practice. I'll invest in a new watch so that I can use the stop and alarm facilities, so I'll be able to work more effectively. And I'm looking forward to creating some time just for me so I can leave work. Fingers crossed it works.
Now Now you might remember from the last series of Ease the Load, we visited Jackie Weeble. Now Jackie's the assistant head at Pictor Primary School near Manchester. Jackie was absolutely run off her feet. She didn't even have time to walk the dog. Well, let's jog your memory.
Assistant head Jackie had huge problems with her organisation and administration skills, which prompted her to ask the Ease the Load team,
how can I find time to walk my dog?
Gladina spent a day in school with Jackie to observe and advise her on how to better balance her teaching and managerial roles.
So Jackie, you know, I've been watching you and there's a few things I think that we could talk about. You know, you're a tremendous teacher. I've seen you with the kids. However, your administration is a nightmare.
Gladina advised Jackie to break things down into smaller units, to use her filofax as a secretary, and to follow an ABC model to prioritise tasks.
I think the tips that Gladina has given me, she was very perceptive. She really got to the heart of things, and she didn't let you carry on thinking about things in the same way. So I found them really useful, and I think I'll carry on. They're seeping into the rest of my life as well, and making me feel more organised and less stressed.
Well, it's a year on and here I am in Longford Park in Manchester to see how Jackie's getting on. Well, blow me, there she is with Bee the dog. Hi, Jackie. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
And how's the little one?
Oh, she's having a lovely walk.
Oh, is she? It's really nice to see you.
And you.
So tell me, how's it been this year? What's been working for you?
Well, I'm a lot more relaxed about getting things done. I'm still using the systems, but I think it's more about a kind of mental attitude that you can deal with it, you will deal with it as long as you prioritise. So that, I think that for me that's been the key thing, is that making time to look at the stuff I've got to do rather than just letting it all pile up and thinking, right, what have I got to do first, what can I leave? You fall into bad habits all the time. I mean, I have to say over the year I've definitely thought, oh no, I must work really hard, I must do all this. Before you know it, you've slipped into a little, you know, bringing all your bags home and thinking, and then I thought, no, I'll sort them out. I'll sort the stuff out into A, B and C. I have to confess there's some stuff in my C that I haven't done. I think. For a year, but obviously it wasn't that important, was it? So I do remember you saying one of our discussions that that I had to learn to be a manager, and I couldn't expect to just be able to do that, and I've used that as an excuse all year. I am only still learning, I keep saying. So, and trying not to be perfect, you know, trying not to be the ideal manager, you know, because they've got to know I've only got a certain amount of time to do stuff in. So but yeah, I feel more relaxed, definitely.
So it sounds like that you've kind of taken a number of things from our work together. The first is the structure of the ABC. The second is recognising that C's sometimes never get done and the world does not disintegrate. And number three, it sounds like you've grown in confidence and you've learnt something, like there is no such thing as a perfect solution.
Yeah, you're right, that old perfectionist streak where, you know, you should be magically wonderful at everything, and and actually part of it is saying, no, I'm sorry, I can't get that done at that time, and I'll have to do this at this time, and you know. But it's things like people talking to you in the corridor, stuff like that, asking you to do stuff, or thinking, oh, I must do that while you're in the staff room, and of course you don't. Because it's not written down, it doesn't fit in the system.
Well, if we were to look at those two, for example, if people are coming up to you in the staff room or whatever, then why are you taking all the responsibility for remembering? You see, what's wrong with that? Or pop a note on my desk.
Yeah.
Oh, come and get me at 5.
Yeah.
Or send me an email just to remind me, because, you know, that kind of thing. So that what you're doing is you're not just kind of like having to then carry what could be, you know, 5 conversations and then rush off to a classroom, because I think with the best will in the world, people will forget.
Yeah.
And I think the telephone calls, again, are about, well, are they always telephone calls that you need to be answering?
That's the point. Yeah.
Or do you need to be delegating them into the right to the right person?
And I suppose you can prioritise telephone calls as well, can't you? Are they A, B or C? That's terrible.
It is, but it is exactly about that. And it's not being unkind to people, it's being realistic.
Yeah.
So I'm not suggesting that you treat people the way you might do some of your C tasks.
Yes.
Speak to them for a year. But I do think you have more leeway. You know, there comes a level over which you, again, really have to apply structure.
Yeah, definitely. I'll look back at that one.
Well, I'm really delighted that Jackie's managed to find a work-life balance that works for her. Do you know something? I think Sarah could learn a lot from Jackie. Well, actually, talking about Sarah...
Morning. Today's Monday. Claudina left last week with a list of many things for me to do. One of the first ones was to buy a watch, which I did over the weekend, and here it is. A bit more complicated than I thought, not a normal bog standard stopwatch. So I'm off now to go and learn how to work it. I'll report back soon. Today is Thursday and I've had a few days of learning how to use my new watch, getting to grips with it slowly. But I found over the last few days that I've got through an hour and then simply not really knowing what I'm doing next. So Claudina felt that I should be recording on a daily planner what I actually anticipate to do within the day, so I feel a bit more successful about things. So I've done just that, and I've recorded the times of the day that I have available, and I'm simply going to record what I hope to achieve within that time. I've just got back from a relatively effective day at work, and I managed to leave at about 4:30, which is half an hour before my target time of 5 o'clock. And I've come home and I'm just getting ready to go for a quick run around the block in the hope of improving my fitness. So all in all, a really good day. Today's Friday and it's the end to quite a productive week really. I've begun to use my stopwatch much more effectively, managing my time, particularly the release time that I receive from school, and some of my evenings a lot more effectively than I was doing before Claudina arrived and gave me her good advice. I'm also using the job list and making sure that I am very specific about what I'm to do within the time slots that I give myself. So, fingers crossed for a nice restful weekend and that next week will be just as effective, if not a bit more.
So it's back to breezy Blackpool for Claudina to see how Sarah's getting on.
Sarah, hi, it's me!
Come on in!
Lovely to see you. Now Sarah, it's been a while since I've been to see you.
It has.
And I left you with a sort of few ideas about what you could do. So how have they been working out?
Well, the first of your ideas was to use a watch, and I now use the watch without fail every day, and that has been the best thing for me really. It's allowed me to really restrict what I do, and when the beep goes then I stop. And also the fact that you said you can say enough's enough. And I have started to do that too, so it's been really effective.
So it sounds like those two particularly have been really, really helpful for you.
They have. It's also allowed me to develop my home life now. I do come home at a reasonable time, definitely 2 days a week, but also it's meant that I've been able to spend time with mum and dad and my partner too, so it's been great.
So I'm just wondering, are there any sort of challenges left, or has that kind of sorted it for you?
Overall it has sorted it. I still do find that I want to do more and more. I'm still struggling with that. I can let go and I can say enough's enough, but I really do think that's a time thing. You also asked me and suggested that I create a planner and plan out my time. So I think that my next step really is to put in some more free time within that and sort of plan out rather than just saying, okay, this is the time I've got available and this is what I'll work to.
Absolutely, and I'm really glad to hear you say that actually, Sarah, because I think that is definitely the next thing to do, which is when you get your next week, so to speak, before you do anything, actually book out the free time first and then put everything else in round it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And it also sounds as if you're sort of still struggling a little bit with that tendency that you've got to kind of, you know, just want to keep running at things.
Yes.
And so now you're kind of learning how to pace yourself, so you're still in that process.
Definitely still in that process. I mean, there is still a frustration that say I block an hour's time to mark, and there is still a frustration when the buzzer goes and I know I've got 10 or 11 books still left. That's irritating for me. And I'm sure over time that irritation will stop. But for me to pick those books up and put them away and think I will do them at some other time, or it's not now, I do, you're right, I do still struggle with time.
But well done, because I mean the thing is, you know, it's a bit of an addiction. It's like, I want to finish it, I want to finish it. Yeah. But actually, yes, give it a bit more time and you'll get somewhere, well, you know, because after all, it's all getting done.
It is, yes. I think the other thing as well is that I am getting much more used to what an hour is. So within that hour, I will mark more quickly. I'll be more effective with the time. And quite often, it's weird, I'll sort of look at my watch and there's about a minute to go. So my body is starting to know, you know, I've got this much time, I'm sort of getting into it that way, so.
Oh, well, is there anything else that, you know, you'd like from me before perhaps I sort of wend my way?
I don't think so. I'd like to say thank you for what you've done. I really do feel that you've had a major impact on my life, and changed it for the better, because I would have, as you suggested, have continued to work in that fashion, would have continued to be exhausted at the end of a term, and potentially relationships could have broken down. So I really feel that I've now got quality time back with my family, which is what it's all about. So I'll be knocking on your door again when I ever get married and have children and settle down properly, because I'll need to juggle even more by then.
Oh, anytime. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm really, really delighted with Sarah. What can I say? I mean, she's really put the effort in. And the one big thing that Sarah's learnt is no work-life balance, no life.
I feel that I've achieved what I set out to achieve, which is make a change in my life that's going to impact the rest of my life. And thanks to Gladina, I've managed to do that. I've managed to make time for my hobbies. I went canoeing and it was fabulous. I felt that I could go and relax and enjoy my time rather than having to worry that I've got work to do.
And the main changes we've seen in Sarah is that we see her far more now. In the past, she used to walk in the back door occasionally at home and she would say, I'm not stopping, I'm too busy, can't stay for tea. But now things are very different. I think she's got a timetable sorted and she's got far more time for us. Sarah does seem happier since she started the programme. You've only got to look at her face. Her smile is back, and other people that she knows have said exactly the same. So yeah, she is much, much happier.